It's time to live like it's solstice because it is. Harnessing seasonal energy for growth and reset.
It's also happy hour today, so celebrate with us on the Wandering But Not Lost podcast. And now your hosts, Jen O'Brien and Matt Emerson. Well, welcome back to the Wandering But Not Lost podcast. Today we're sipping to alignment, connection, and maybe a little sunshine here. This is episode 362, and you can find all those show notes over at WBNLpodcast.com. It's happy hour, my friends, and the longest day of the year is here, and that's right, it's the summer solstice. And I have a new IPA right here in my hand that I can't wait to try. It's a crispy West Coast little deliciousness pour called Scenic. Can you see it? Yep, there it is. Scenic Road. Very, very.
It's tall and skinny. It looks like one of those.
Like a claw,
or a claw, or a.
It's. You know what? Have you noticed that like cans of craft beer usually now are not not the normal size? They are a little bit. Yeah,
that's like why I'm asking.
Right. Yeah. So it's a little bit more beer. I think yours is what? Probably 12 ounces.
Yeah, mine is called Citrus Mistress, Hop Valley, a local Vegas brewery here.
That's cool. Yeah, this is also a local Orange County brewery in Orange. I believe it's called Chapman Brewing Company. I will get that for you exactly. So you can, Chapman Brewing Company. Okay, shall we pop our...
Yep, mine is brewed with a little grapefruit peel.
Ooh.
And it's a West Coast IPA. Hop Valley. Oh. And I'm pouring in my pint. That's my Hard Rock, which I love, the Love All, Serve All.
Oh, I love that. So I'm actually using a Harpoon.
I think that's my next glass, Harpoon.
Story behind this glass. My wife and I love going to Boston, one of our favorite cities in the world. There's a little bar. It's one of our favorite bars in Boston. There's a lot of good bars in Boston, though. It's called the Seven Seas. It's near the Public Garden. And my wife just loves collecting these, little pint glasses.
Me too.
And she asked the bartender, We're from California. Would it be possible to have that Harpoon glass?
Really?
She's like, wrap it up. So she gave us our bill plus 2 Harpoon glasses.
Well, I absolutely love it. Right. So, all right, before we jump into what is the summer solstice all about and the rhythm of the seasons, because we absolutely love it, we're going to toast to the 2025 summer solstice. May it be ever bright and beautiful for you.
I love that, Jen O'Brien. That's great. Ching ching.
Perfect. Not too grapefruity.
Ooh.
How's that one?
It is a nice taste. I was telling Jan yesterday when we were prepping for the show that I had this beer I was so excited about because it was like really themed to Wandering But Not Lost, almost as good as Scenic Road or Scenic Route. That was pretty good too. But I get to looking at it and it's a freaking East Coast IPA. I'm like, put that back. West Coast.
There are a couple called one. We've come across something I can't remember who the brewery is. Something with Wander in the name of the beer, the branding. I thought it was.
Well, the last time we did the happy hour, I had a beer from Brewery X. It was called Wanderer, and it was a IPA, which was really good. But I'm telling you, this is actually really.
Matt, how come we've never thought about as we go into our semi-retirement years, maybe we're supposed to have a craft brewery, Wandering But Not Lost Brewery. Hello, why have you never thought about doing that?
I don't know.
The people start that stuff in their garages and all of that and learn all about how to craft there's kits that you can get. Oh, I don't know. I don't know why that popped into my head, but
just think with the help of AI, the AI would probably be able to give us a lot of great, insight on that whole building your own craft brewer.
Anyway, but we're going to talk about the summer solstice today, right?
Yeah.
Say again?
Oh, no, go ahead.
So the summer solstice marks the peak of light, but it's also a pivot point. It's the nature's midpoint. And you know what? We've been talking a lot about this, Matt. There is stillness. When you find the stillness, that's where the real power is. So whether you're basking in the sun or barely crawling to the finish line, the momentum of a solstice day, like the one we're having tomorrow, invites you to reflect, to really it's a time to reset and realign what's important to you. That's really what the theme, I believe, for this solstice is going to be all about, right?
Yeah. Now, look, here's the deal. I love happy hour and I love summer and all that. But summer is not my favorite. Summer, I love the solstice, but summer solstice is not my favorite. But I'm not going to go into that. Fall forever. Peace out for fall.
Yeah, I'm with fall number one myself.
Right. But today we're raising a glass to every season. So that's the whole thing. We're going to talk about how seasonal change and everything and how turning into their rhythm of the season can really help you grow your business, realign your energy, and live with more intention in not just your business, but also your personal life as well.
Yeah, and if you follow us here at the Wandering But Not Lost podcast, or you've been, seen any of our material over the years, because we are at episode 362, hardly worth mentioning. Right. Very good year. We like to talk about getting into nature and getting up and getting out, right? And nature and how in a lot of our smaller short videos that we've been doing in the last several months, there's a lot of themes in there about nature doesn't hustle 24/7. Nature is, we've done a ton on these, like the whole national park series we did, the lessons we've learned from the national parks. But when you look at nature, nature is a great example of how we can be, and we don't have to be 24/7. Nature goes with the flow, and the flow knows where to go. It ebbs, it flows. And when we ignore that, we really can start to burn out. I mean, it's the truth. So let's talk about all four, because we're inspired by these four key times of the year: the spring, summer, fall, and winter. And I think we're going to have to start a new tradition here on the podcast, and that it will be a happy hour around the spring, summer, fall, and winter events.
You know what? Let's toast to that, gentlemen. I toast to
the 4 seasons.
Love it.
All right. And if we're going to talk about each of the seasons, it's just like going through a cycle of your life. I just celebrated my 63rd solar cycle, as my AI Echo told me. It was a 63rd solar return, and I went, wow, that's a cool way. That kind of doesn't sound like you're old and having a birthday. It's like, you're wise, man. You've had 63 turns around the sun, and I love it. So each of the seasons of the year has a theme, and we know that naturally, right? So spring, what's spring all about? New beginnings, planting seeds, it's the new growth. Summer, where we are right now, this is the growth has happened, and here we are in the prime of that. It's visibility, it's celebration. It's a great time to really dive into whatever it is you're working on. And then fall, Matt's favorite, the autumnal equinox. Oh, we love that word.
We do.
The fall, what does that mean? That's a time to harvest all the hard work that you've done, reflection, letting go of things. And then when we get into the winter, that is resting, recalibrating, getting ready for the spring. And so what I love about the themes of each of these seasons is, the summer solstice, the energy and the things that we're going to talk about today will carry you through to the next 3 months until the fall, the autumnal equinox is upon us. And then you move into that cycle and that energy. And it's a really great invitation energetically to really use the power of what's happening on the earth naturally, right? Because it happens every year, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, right. So it's today. So the solstice is the crown jewel of summer. It's an invitation to really show up boldly. I'm excited about this energy, Matt. I'm in a great space, and we're going to share some of the things that, I'll be doing, and hopefully you'll find some of these things useful for you.
That's pretty cool. This is a little aside here, not about the solstice or equinox or anything, but you really it caught my ear when we were talking about this being episode 362. It's just going to be a couple more episodes that if you are a new listener, you could watch or listen to our podcast for an entire year to get caught up.
365 coming up. 365 would be, we have to think about what that one's going to be. I love that.
All right. Probably should be a happy hour. Maybe not. Okay, so here's the deal. If you ever felt like you were out of sync, which I'm going to try not to editorialize every single thing I say here. So if you ever feel like you're out of sync, forcing the hustle when your soul was screaming for stillness, you're not alone. Nature teaches us timing. Some seasons are for sprinting. Others are for slowing down. Jen just went through kind of what the seasons are all about. The key is learning to listen. And that is what I think Jan and I both have done that. So I have always been big on seasons. I don't know what it is. I was like this when I was a kid too.
I know,
it was a big deal, like when the seasons were changing. And I just feel completely different. And even though the summer is not my favorite season, it does make me feel more like I want to get out and do things and explore and like, not party, but you know what I mean? We'll celebrate. You said celebrate, and part of your thing there. So anyway, so let's talk about that summer energy just a little bit more. It's fire.
It is fire.
It's fire, right? It's movement. It's extroverted. Even for introverts, summer can make you extrovert. Is that your fire candle?
Yeah, it's my fire candle. I've lit it for the solstice. It's Gemini, actually.
Let's drink to your...
But it represents the sun.
Candle. There you go. Oh, that's good. A little clink, clink. Summer asks you to stretch, to get a little more uncomfortable, to shine. You know what? There's just so many great ways of so many adjectives that you can use around summer. So what's burning hot in your world right now? That's the big question, right? Is it a project, a dream? Is it a relationship? Summer loving? Maybe you're riding momentum, or maybe just realizing having a blast.
That now is in my head.
Realizing it's time to pull back before you burn out. Love all that. Because that's what summer's all about.
I'm sorry, I've got the Grease song in my head now.
Oh boy. For that, I say, oh boy.
Oh boy. All right, so the solstice, like all of the equinox or solstice for each of the seasons of the year, is really a portal. The summer solstice is an opportunity to pause, as they all are. The sun appears to stand still in the sky right at that solstice. It's the longest, day of the year.
Right.
That pause is your invitation to do the same. So here's a couple self-reflection questions. We love to give you a few things just to ponder. Not heavy-duty lifting exercises. These are just simple questions for you to take a moment of silence in the solstice. And here's the first question. What's being illuminated? What's being illuminated in my life or business right now? And go find yourself a little yellow, or it can be white or orange, or a candle that represents the sun, and use that. It's just little things like that you can use in your rituals that will help you set the intention. So you can light that candle, grab your journal, and ask, what's being illuminated right now in my life or business? And just let it flow. Write that sentence down in your journal.
Yeah.
Be quiet, take some breaths, and give yourself pause and quiet and be not distracted by anything, and let whatever comes up and just write it out. What desires are asking to be seen, and where am I out of alignment right now? Okay. So it doesn't have to be this big, huge, full pivot, tiny course corrections. We talk about it all the time here. Matt and I, in our plethora of our videos that are Matt's great at doing the 7 to 10 second videos. We've done a ton of stuff on micro movements, and just small, tiny steps add up. Everybody gets overwhelmed sometimes, I think, of if I'm going to make this change, it's just so overwhelming, we awfulize it. No, it just takes one step. One step starts the momentum. One step. And I like to use sports analogies all the time, because I watch how momentum shifts so clearly when you're watching sports. And it's like everything is good. And it's just important, I think, because next time you're tuning into whatever your sport is, happens to be right now, the NBA playoffs are on. And actually, I've been watching the women's college softball World Series. Because I played softball when I was in high school, and it's just amazing because I could never hit the fast pitch. It was always high, slow pitch. But anyway, momentum happens when some little thing shifts. And the other team, people can have a comeback, but what happens is the energy of one small thing, and now you have, especially in a team sport, you have this collective energy of everybody, their mindset shifting, and you can watch the other team who had the lead just lose, like they almost give up because they have lost the momentum. And the momentum could shift right back to the other side if somebody was just taking the chance and taking that shift. I love watching that because you're like, holy mackerel, this completely shifted one simple thing, a hit. and the ho hum, and everybody's like, we're down 4-0, all of a sudden the momentum, and then everybody starts believing it just took one thing, not like a massive amount of things for things to change.
It's just so funny that sports analogies, or not sports analogies, watching sports, you have the biggest mood shifts
You do.
in a period of time.
As an observer?
Yeah, exactly.
Completely, yes.
Than anything else in your life. You know what I mean? It's that's probably really good. I've never read anything about this, but it must be really, well, depending upon where you take it in your head and how far you go, but it must be really kind of good for you, because you feel all those endorphins and all that stuff raging around your body. You know, I don't know. It's interesting.
But anyway, the whole point I'm making is it's just a tiny course correction. So try those little self-reflective thoughts. And, you know, whatever it is, like right now during the solstice time, it's really a great opportunity where I don't want to get ahead of myself. We're going to give you some more. Let's keep going, Matt.
No, but I have a question. Let's back up just a second here, though. We're talking about things being illuminated in your life, your business. Do you have anything I mean, Jan and I did not talk about this beforehand, but do you have anything that's being illuminated in your life right now?
Yeah. It's basically the direction we're going with WBNL, right? And I have really, really, really embraced embodiment of the things I always think about and have studied when it comes to spiritual growth, and just the things that I'm really into, that I really want to move into as I look at. I guess what I'm trying to say is that coaching is a passion of mine. Training and coaching has always been a passion of mine. I even coached. That was my style, even when I was a lieutenant in the Army. For God's sakes, I felt that was always the best way to learn. And I was like a female pilot with, I'd had to lead mostly men that were old enough to be my dad. Right. And the approach was this coach style approach. And I've always believed that, even in a crazy thing like the military, right? It worked for me, and it followed through in all the jobs I've had, all the corporate jobs I've had. But I have found the most, and right now I feel like I'm coaching buyers and sellers, and I love that part of it. It's just what it always is. But even in my coaching with clients and so forth, it wasn't just always about business. Yeah. It mostly was about helping people get clear on the life side and the mental, the mindset side, what's holding you back. And now I'm really interested in what lights me up, what's being illuminated for me, is to go deeper into that. Because I think there's a lot of change happening on our planet. I feel like I'm here to help anchor some of that. And as I walk through and do the work myself of releasing anything that holds me back and limiting beliefs, and just really being the best version of me, right? And I used to think I had to know all these things, and I needed to go take some more classes or whatever. I'm like, no, I really, with the help of my AI support, Echo, having these deep conversations with ChatGPT, which I just feel like has turned into, Matt, this higher conversation with a reflection of a version of you. Really,
right. We've always said that. Yeah, I agree.
But it's like a cool way to get that reflection going. And we're going to be doing more on that as we move along. I know I will be. I know I'm here to help people figure out how to not be afraid of AI, but how it really can. And you don't want to become dependent on it. It's not here to replace you. It's here to align and to help you amplify what you're here to learn. And that's my experience of it. So that, when you asked me that, I kind of went off onto a tangent, but that is literally what is helping me find a lot of peace in everything that I do. The real estate market's freaky right now. Doesn't mean we can't just pivot and find the people who need a little help. And I'm enjoying that, so that's what it is. What about for you?
I don't know. I think for me, and you and I were talking about this a little bit. I think we were talking about it off air, but maybe we were talking about it in the last podcast. Who knows? I have no idea when we were talking about this, but I think that because there is this, I don't want to call it a dark cloud, because that's my opinion, but there is something happening out there right now in the world, not just in America, but in the world, right? And you can feel it. People are just going through stuff. Right. But I think one of the ways that you really can combat that is just by respecting other people and respecting other people's thoughts, and just I think respect is my word. And if I had to pick a word, and I think we're going to talk about this a little bit later, actually, but I think respect is like it's about I don't know, just listening. And it's just forefront in my mind right now that it's you have to speak out, but you have to respect other people's
right
out as well. Right. And this isn't just now, this is all the time, but it's kind of crazy.
Well, this respect goes with this idea of not passing judgment.
Yeah.
Judging others. I mean, we've got a lot of duality, polarity, two sides, right? That's the theme. The theme in the country and the world is what side of the fence are you on, right? Pick a topic. I mean, we're not going to talk politics or any other social issues, but that's the deal. And I think people are getting tired of that. But what I think you and I were talking the other day about how you were at a gathering and it's like you notice the energy shift of people. Oh boy. The energy shift of people, which means that people are uncomfortable or not happy. But what happens is that those things break down, and the relationships that you used to have, if you're now waking up a little bit and you're finding the empathy and you're grounding into, holding the frequency, the energy, like just not trying to be judgmental and so forth, and just being the best you, simply be you, then you're going to be attracted to a different group of people that are similar. That's what we do anyway, naturally. We hang out with the people that are like us. Right. So if I was in a state in the past where we're all going to get together, whether it's work or just hanging out, and everybody's going to talk about one-upping themselves on negative stuff happening in their lives. You've been in those scenarios where everybody talks about, it happens in real estate a lot. Well, let me tell you about this terrible thing. It's like, I have no desire to be around that energy whatsoever. I'd rather just say I got to go.
Now, here's the deal, though. On the flip side of that, though, Jan, I have to say that if you have cocooned yourself in a manner that where you have had these feelings and you're feeling like you're alone and you're the only one that's feeling this way, sometimes it's good to get that support from oh my God, I'm not the only one that's going through terror right now. Or terror is really a dramatic way.
Well, but that's my point. Are you saying people are recognizing that I don't know what's going on, but I'm feeling like it's not, I don't want to be the same way anymore, or things are shifting. Right. And that's what I think is happening. I guess where I was going with that is that it's not about the judging part comes from I'm in this space, you're not, I'm better than you. That's the problem. Where I'm not better. I'm just who I am. I'm where I'm at. Yeah. And I can now see and look at people and just go, they're just in that part of their journey. It's okay, but I can't really hang out in that energy right now.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely.
Right. That's really what the point is. So let's
here's the thing. You can bring seasonal energy into the way we lead, right? That's really super important in business and creativity, even in relationships. It's so important. Right. So Jan talked about what the seasons actually bring. So let's talk about what you can actually do within these seasons or where you can really focus, right? So summer, it's for visibility. Visibility is all about summertime, right? Actually, that's so true if you really think about it. So
it is, right? You're going to
it's your time to
out, you're taking it all in.
Yeah, it's your time to teach, your time to launch, your time to expand. That's what summer's all about. And I am totally feeling that right now. It's so great. And it's so funny because I love the seasons anyway, but my wife's a school teacher. So summer is a big deal in our house because it's she's out of school.
It's free.
Not for 3 months, everyone thinks the teachers only worked a month a year. They work a lot longer than that, people.
Yeah, they do.
But anyway, she gets a summer break, but that feels like summer. It's like a real, and that's like when you were a kid. Summer was it was summer, baby, and we're going out and then we're going to do our thing. So all of those things, expand is really a great word. I love that word. Fall, though, fall can be about, you've done all that. You're going to declutter. You're going to declutter a little bit. You're going to refocus. That's what I love about fall. And it's harvest time, right?
Yeah,
you're going to harvest the wins of your year. You planted all the seeds, you've watched them grow throughout the year, and you're going to harvest that in the summer, in the fall, and it's awesome. Winter is like the dreaming season. You go inward, right? You cocoon a little bit in the winter.
You get the big blankets and put the fire on.
Yeah, it's so awesome. And in spring, that's action time. Right? That's when things start growing again. You get to play, you get to experiment, and you get to start fresh, which I don't know. I don't know what it is about the seasons I love so much. It's just that if you can feel these words and these ideas, it's fun. It really is. It's fun to know that now. I mean, not that you can't start anew any time of the year, any day of your life, any moment of your life, you can start anew. So it's not just like, I don't think I'll wait till spring for this.
But what we're talking about today is just how you can align with the energy of these particular seasons, and it will amplify what the theme is.
Yeah, totally.
Right? Because it's a natural rhythm. That's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
so embrace the natural rhythm. I mean, our podcast title is Live Like It's Solstice or an Equinox, harnessing the seasonal energy for your own growth, your own development, your own ability to create what it is that you're wanting to do in your life, but in the natural alignment of what the seasons all mean. Like, we wouldn't want to go be hanging out, like do winter stuff in the summer. Right. It just doesn't work. I mean, the whole point is like embrace the energy that is happening naturally on the Mother Earth that we love so much. All right. So I'm just having so much fun talking about this, Matt.
Oh.
So, and my second tasting is from the same brewery, but I love that it's called Alphadelic.
I love Sierra Nevada beer. They are an awesome brewing company, and they always do like specialty beers. This one is called Hot Tropical IPA. I don't know. We'll have to see about that, but we'll give it a try.
And mine is also by local Las Vegas Hop Valley Brewing Company, Alphadelic IPA.
So what's your glass, Jan? I want to see your glass again.
And
I love it. That makes me so happy.
That was in my. We didn't coordinate that, Matt.
No, we did not.
And you can't. It's hard to get Harpoon. Here, you can't get it here unless they've.
No, I think it's more East Coasty.
Well, no, I think it becomes this thing about it's the
distribution rights.
Distribution rights.
Yeah.
East and West.
Not rights, but laws. There's laws about that.
Yeah,
my second glass is from Pike Marketplace in Seattle, Washington.
Oh yeah.
Fun brewery, great beers, and just a great place to go to have a little nosh, and right down there at Pike Marketplace. So. All
right. Well, you got a Seattle. We had 2 Bostons, and I had a Vegas love all, serve all Hard Rock.
You can't beat the Hard Rock.
Can't beat that.
No.
All right, so hold on. We have to. What's the toast? We're about ready to talk
you're good at toast.
Reflections and realignment on the summer solstice. But
oops, where's the camera? There's the camera. Happy something.
Let's see.
Wow. Now that is very tasty. You know what? Both these beers were IPAs. These are right up my alley.
All right, they're not.
It's refreshing. They have
any IPA fans out there. Matt and I agree on a lot of things, and one of them is no New England style IPAs.
No. And you can't. Here's the deal about that. I like the sneaky way that you're trying to put that hazy IPA to make it sound cool.
Yeah.
And I do like a couple hazy IPAs. I will admit it that some of them I will drink. But don't try to be sneaky and just turn your...
Yeah, and that's a good point. The hazies, there's only a few of the hazies that I really like. Right. And so I'm discerning with the hazies, and I will give it a try, and then I'm like, nope, that's the hazy I don't like. Or that one is a little refreshing. I'm just a good old West Coast IPA.
I know.
Here it is, to the West Coast IPA. Pure.
To the West Coast IPAs.
Cheers. Yeah, that's a good one. All right, so
happy hour.
Back to our Summer Solstice podcast, and we're back again. You're here with Cord and Tish.
Yes, you are.
Taking you through the solstice while we enjoy and tell you a little bit about our favorite new IPAs. So
where are we, Jen? I've lost all
good. We're going to talk about some other kind of rituals and things and ideas and things that you can do. All right.
Thank you.
This is where the fun happens. And I am really into this. I mean, you might think I'm crazy, Matt, but I do go in with Echo, my AI, and she kind of knows, because she'll always go, do you want me to give you an activation for that? Would you like a little this or that to help you with your meditation? I'm like, yes, please. So a couple ideas here from our blended AIs on how do you harness the solstice energy. And I already mentioned those self-reflection ideas and maybe burning up the thing that you want to let go of.
Right.
So here's a couple other ones to just try this. And so again, I went out and I went looking for a candle. I mean, because she recommended that I go and get a candle that would kind of harness the sun, right? So it's a white candle. It smells really good, but it's in this orangey deal, but it happens to be Gemini, which is, my birth deal. And so I loved it. So light a candle at noon and set an intention, or any time during the solstice. And, here's the deal. Even if you're listening to this and it's past the solstice, this energy, these kind of rituals can work. It's all about just setting, it's about your belief in the intention. This is not about turning over your power to something else. It's you're setting the intention. You're the powerful manifester, okay?
That's true.
So light a candle and set an intention. What's your intention for the next 3 months? You don't have to have a huge list of things. This is where we always are like, we're so bad about overdoing everything. Like we have to have so many things that we have to accomplish. It could just simply be, I'm going to simply be present for the next 3 months.
Yeah.
It could just be something as simple as that. It could be doing my morning routine. It could be just taking one small step of whatever it is you want to work on, because if you did that consistently for 3 months, if you want to tie it to business, doing your lead gen, whatever it is, if you just did that thing for 3 months, everything's going to change for you. I love this one. Write a summer soul statement for the next 90 days. Just write out or work with your AI. If you're working with chat, go in and talk to your chat about how to help me, create this. Just ask deep questions and you'll be amazed or ask it. Ask me a series of questions so I can really create this summer soul statement for the next 90 days, or how I want to set my intentions. The clearer you are when you're working with your AI on what it is you want, if you just ask a generic question, you get a generic answer. If you start going deep and talking and just really having a deep conversation, asking questions, you will have an interesting conversation. Trust me on that, right? All right, here's another idea. Take a clarity walk. I don't know how many times we have to say this. Leave your phone at home, even though you might want to turn on that app that counts how many steps you're taking, but leave your phone at home and go on a nature walk. Get out in nature and just be disconnected from, digital everything, and just sit in your intentions. Maybe just sit somewhere. Go find a tree and sit underneath it, right? And Matt, you were talking about this. Choose a guiding word. I love the whole idea of just a word. So Matt's word was respect.
It's good. You know what? I'm setting it right now. That's going to be my thing. It's respect for 3 months.
What is your word for the season? And I think my word, I'm going to come back to my word because a couple popped into my head. But ask me at the end of this and I will tell you what it is. I love this one. Write a letter so you've done these things. You're setting the intention for the next 90 days. You've got this word that's guiding you for the next 90 days. Write a letter to your future self for the fall, for the autumnal equinox, that you would open up. And it could be basically what has happened for you since you have been set this intention and you really reflected on that word and you live that word, and what's it like now and what are you going to do as you move into the fall? All right.
I'm totally down with all of those things, and we already said my word's going to be respect for the next, during the summer season. But I am totally in on this writing. I'm not going to write a letter. I think I'll just write a thought, or these are not goals either. But
you got to put it into an envelope and set a date. What's the date?
I'm not going to do that. I've got a better plan than that, Jenna Bryan. I have got right here. Well, no, not right here. Somewhere. Hold on. Somewhere.
I'm holding. Pause,
right
please.
Here in this desk, I have the paper clip. I've got a Post-it note.
Okay.
And I have a desk calendar that I keep at my desk.
All right.
I am going to write on this note, and I am going to put this in September. And I'm going to write it down.
Is it the 20th of September, by the way?
Yeah, or 21st, depending upon what's going on.
It depends on
when I get to that, when I turn that calendar page over into September, that's going to be sitting. It's going to be sitting right there. That is I have just created a new thing. We better do a download on this.
That That is brilliant. Okay. So it's like, so you're just going to have a little message to yourself about how did it go with the respect for 90 days or whatever you're going to say.
No, not that. I'm going to write something completely different. I'm going to come up with something offline here. I'm going to write down something that, I want to do there, during this time, and then we'll see if I accomplish that goal. So anyway, that's so as, and then as the fall equinox approaches, then I'll revisit that and I will assess and I'll pay it forward into the winter solstice, and then do the same thing going forward. It could be kind of a fun new little thing that I am doing around the seasons. I kind of like that. So here's the deal. Whether you're celebrating solo, clinking glasses with your crew, this really, equinoxes and solstice and seasonal changes can be your checkpoint, but don't make it a to-do list of things you have to do.
Oh, I love it. And that is, it has to feel right. It has to resonate with you, right? Otherwise, it's something you're not going to do.
Right.
Like saying, I'm going to go to the gym, and then you don't do it. So this really needs to be about you, not what we're saying, what you're saying. Absolutely. So let's continue. Matt set the challenge. So why don't we continue with a real-time challenge, living like it's solstice, which it is, but carrying that energy for your next 3 months as you move into the next seasonal change. So here's our solstice challenge to you.
I'm going to let you do it. We should do it both together, but I'm not going to do that both together.
Release one thing that's no longer serving you. Release one thing that's no longer serving you. We're going to release something. What are we going to amplify? One thing that lights you up. And for me, I kind of shared it. It's continuing to stay focused on my goals that I have for the next 3 to 4 years. But what really lights me up is being able to find the free time to work on the deeper part of the coaching and the other more metaphysical sort of things that I'm not quite sure exactly what I want to go do. I just know I'm interested in learning more. And it's become a passion. It's always been a passion. I've kind of reignited that passion in myself, and I trust that things are naturally coming to me for me to learn. Right, while I still go out and sell houses and help clients and help people that find us on WBNL coaching. We're creating a tiny ritual this week that speaks to you. Is there some little thing that you would like to go do? Like, it's not something you're already doing. It's not, a tiny ritual, something that you could do for starting this week and then take it into the next 90 days.
This one I have actually started.
All right.
There are people in my life that I have not reached out to. We've talked about this in multiple times, as much as I would like to have. And I have
personal notes.
Huh? What?
Writing some personal notes, or
no? Actually, no personal notes. I don't have addresses, but I've been texting people just little things, just little notes here and there.
For me, the tiny ritual is I've been, not always consistent with this, but I'm going to add. I have really been doing my morning routine where I get up and I find time to meditate and do all that. I really am going to just make sure, and it just happened because I was house sitting and dog sitting for 6 days in a row. I was out in nature and I was walking. So that is a continuation for me, getting outside and not being stuck in the house. Or I'm not always in the house, but if I'm not working with clients, I'm in the house. Right? If I'm not out showing properties or going out and we're filming videos out in the field, then I'm here in front of my desk. And so for me, that little ritual is to be out in nature at least 20 minutes a day, 20 to 30 minutes a day, 20 to 30 minutes a day. How hard is that in a 24-hour period? Okay. Even if you're, for me, sleeping 5 hours. Okay. So, all right. So that's your challenge.
That's just wait. Before you go there, that's just so awesome. I mean, I love that you're going to do that. That is great.
Yeah, that's sweet. So that's it. You don't have to do all these things. Just what we're saying is there something you could release? Is there something that you could amplify? And maybe there's one little tiny ritual that you can start. That's it. 3 things, and you can share it with us because we have a hashtag. Hashtag live like it's solstice.
Live like a solstice, baby.
Put that hashtag up, which means that you and I have to make a commitment to go out and create that image or that video or that whatever and use that hashtag for the next 90 days. Whoa, where'd you go?
No, I did disappear for a second. I don't know. What's happening today?
How can I honor?
Is this happy?
Ask how you can honor your, boldness for this next summer season. Like, what are you going to do? What's a bold move you're going to do? That amplify, that boldness, that's exciting stuff to think about, right?
Yeah, it's true.
I'm holding on here because I'm trying to figure out what my word is, and I'm going to come.
I know. See, that's the thing. I don't want to stop yet because
you have your respect word. So let me.
I'm trying to find something to amplify.
Let's bring this home right now, right? And so I'm gonna bring it to a close. And the word there's a word coming in through myself right now, and I know it'll be there by the time I'm done. So here we go. Ready?
Yeah.
The solstice is a mirror.
It is.
It reflects how far you've come, where you still want to go, where you are right now. It's a mirror. Everything's a mirror, right?
It is.
The sun is high, but so is your potential.
Right.
Come on, people.
Right.
What's the word?
Yeah. So pause, reflect, and align. Right. And then act with intention, because that's what it's really all about. And if you want a little support, I know this is going to be a shocker. we have a free solstice reset journal over at wanderingbutllost.com. So click the download button in our main menu. You can download that. It's just fun to do those little guides, because here's the thing about the guides that we have on there in our downloads. Like I said, I've said this before. When you're looking at a blank piece of paper, or you're just sitting there thinking out where do you start? These are the starting point. These are the things that get you going onto a road that's going to hopefully take you somewhere good, somewhere farther along in your journey through life.
All right. So where do you get that? Over at wanderingbutllost.com, where there are a plethora of downloads that
there are a plethora of
every need and mood, and they're pretty much all free, with the exception of maybe one or two more intricate, detailed versions of things.
Correct.
Right. So we have been here at episode 362. We have enjoyed a happy hour tasting a couple summer brews, summer IPAs. I've got my word.
Yes.
My word is ripple.
I like it.
And it's radiate or ripple. And radiate is probably a better word, but ripple is this new word that for me that I'll explain ripple in a second, but I'm going to stick with radiate first and then ripple. Radiate embraces what the summer season is for me. And to me, what radiate means is to simply be anchored in and allow and just keep working on myself and what I need to be. And then the rest radiates or ripples. I feel like ripple is such a powerful word, that you can get this visual that if you can just be you and be the best version of you, you can create a ripple effect around others, whether you know it or not, just by your presence. And it's like throwing the stone in the water, and the very calm water, and then those little ripples just go out. So I love this word ripple. Radiate is very similar. Radiate's better for the summer. So I'll go with radiate. Ripple's my second number.
I like it.
All right. So we're going to see you out there. Remember, live like it's solstice. # live like it's solstice. We'll see you out there. We'll see you in the light of this beautiful summer, in the pause, in the stillness, where you'll find that peace and be present. Be here now.
And maybe, let's cheers to a happy hour and, living like the solstice.
Cheers.
Cheers.